A couple of years back, we kind of took the opportunity to dive into something we hadn't done before, and that was to start a podcast. We thought about it, and a lot of people sitting in the tractor, sitting in the combine. There's a lot of guys that listen to talk radio or listen to FM radio. I think we saw an opportunity to get sort of an education side of things when it comes to customers being in the tractor, and that came about the podcast. We were actually out talking with a customer of ours and how he kind of passes the time and learns things, and that customer was specifically an avid podcast listener. So we kind of got that idea and said, hey, let's start a podcast revolving around agriculture technology, and that the RDO Agriculture Technology Podcast was born. We're into about going on 5 years of production now with the Agriculture Technology Podcast, and we really felt it was a unique opportunity to get information out there about different types of technology or maybe different features of equipment related to technology. There's a lot of information when it comes to ag technology and what's being introduced, and sometimes it doesn't get promoted or marketed as well as it should, and that's why we take the podcast to better market or better facilitate the conversation with customers about those types of products and those types of technologies. Along with the podcast, one of the other unique things that we've done with our product specialist team is we've become social employees. And I guess what that really comes down to is we have a Twitter presence. I know a lot of people know that agriculture has a pretty large following on Twitter. It might surprise a few, but agriculture and ag tech has a very large following on Twitter, and we at RDO Equipment Company have taken the opportunity to get in front of some of those customers, and we carry RDO branded Twitter accounts. And I think a lot of the uniqueness to that is we're able to engage with customers that maybe the conversation might not come up when we're on the farm, or even customers outside of our area. I know myself with my Twitter handle, I've had a lot of conversations with people around the United States just about specific technologies that maybe they haven't seen in their area, or maybe it's a unique technology to our area here in the Red River Valley. And we do a lot of stuff on Twitter as far as promoting the products and promoting just the technologies, and that goes across our entire company. So not only here in the Midwest, but also our Northwest region and our Southwest region as well. Having a podcast in the ag industry is definitely unique. There is a lot of undertaking that goes with that. Prior to me becoming kind of the host and producer of the show, there was another coworker of mine that was doing some of the behind the scenes stuff, and then he had handed over the host position to myself. And recently I've kind of taken more of that responsibility to do a lot of that producing, and it is a very big time commitment, trying to find topics and people. Finding the topics in ag technology isn't the hard part. It's finding people willing to talk into a microphone about those topics or those specific pieces of technology. And along with the Twitter, that also is a fairly decent time commitment, because we got to make sure the content is relevant. We got to make sure that it lines up with our company standards and what we believe as RDO Equipment Company. So there is a lot of work that goes into the RDO podcast, as well as having socially involved employees. As far as drawing revenue to a bottom line, I don't know that there's any direct lines that can be drawn from social media or the podcast directly to a sale. But I do know, specifically speaking with myself, is I have had a number of conversations with customers or people that have asked questions about what they saw on Twitter or what they heard on the podcast, and it did result into a sale. So I would say indirectly we can definitely attribute the podcast and or being social media present, we can definitely draw it back to a bottom line in promoting these technologies that a lot of customers may not be hearing about. I do feel that having a social media presence, as well as kind of going above and beyond with the podcast, does set us apart from other dealerships out there. The marketing aspect of it, kind of as I stated before, that there's a lot of stuff when it comes to ag technology that does not get promoted properly. A lot of that is relied on the dealerships directly, not just coming from the manufacturer itself. So I feel that having employees on Twitter as well as doing the podcast, it gives us a competitive advantage or a competitive edge to have or better promote the products that we are trying to sell. With RDO Equipment Company, our portfolio of equipment is very unique. So we, of course, our major OEM manufacturer, John Deere, offering all of the technology and precision components through John Deere. But there's also a lot of stuff that John Deere doesn't necessarily offer. So we have the opportunity through many different short lines that we carry. And I really do feel it gives us another advantage to offer solutions to the customers. That's something that John Deere may not offer. So whether it be UAV solutions or maybe some application equipment or maybe even some softwares that we can partner with, it definitely gives us a competitive advantage when we're talking about short lines, not only from an iron standpoint, but from a technology standpoint as well.